السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه واهتدى بهداه. اللهم اجمعنا به يا رب العالمين. اللهم آمين. May Allah bless these gatherings. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as He gathered us praying and listening to Quran and studying the guidance of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, may He gather us all in Jannah. Allahumma ameen. Continue with the book of I'm sorry. I don't know what this is. Too much knowledge. We continue with the book of Mukhtasar Minhaj al-Qasideen, and we talked about the Fadl al-Ilm, the virtue of knowledge, and we continued to say that the knowledge which has to do with your relationship with your Lord involves three parts. The first part is i'tiqad. What should you have in mind and heart as aqeedah? What do you believe in? What do you go by? And that has general part. We believe in Allah, the Day, Judgment, the 6 articles of faith. And we may have to go into specific things at specific times, like nowadays, freedom, up to what level? Freedom to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all of us in one place, and it's okay, like what they are doing in some Muslim countries. The same, I'm not talking about airports and places where it's not mainly built to mix everything together, but to facilitate. But I'm talking about purposely getting everybody together and thinking that everybody is right and there's no difference whatsoever between one faith and the other. What do we believe in homosexuality? Do we have any lines between what do we believe in as right and what do we believe in as wrong? This is what should we know as Muslims, what is our aqeedah, and how should we go, what should we go by as far as i'tiqad. That involves so many parts. The second category is al-fi'l. What should we do? The actions. The actions, what to do and what not to do, will be based on aqeedah. Aqeedah is what's going to move you. So the fi'l is what should we know as far as my relationship with my Lord. I think it's this one, probably. Allahu a'lam. Let's try this. So what should I do? What is wajib on me? What is wajib on you is as far as it will depend on what's obligatory on you. Salah is obligatory on you. You should know what's going on in Salah. The thing is, my brothers and sisters, even for those who are born Muslims, we take things for granted. I see people praying, I see people do fasting, zakah, we take it for granted. Yes, we know a lot if you're born Muslim. Yes, we know a lot, but not everything is what you think. It should go by the book. We should go by it. You should be doing something for 40 years, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's right. You may see the whole Muslim ummah doing one thing, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's right. Unless Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said it's right, or we read in the Quran, that is what we should go by. ماذا نفعل? What should we do? Is it in the book? We can go by. So, shall everybody know Hajj and the rules of Hajj? No. Not everybody should know Hajj at all the time. It's when Hajj becomes obligatory on you, now you have to learn what to do and what not to do when it is time for Hajj. Should everybody know the rules of menstruation for women? No. Women should know it when it's time for them that they are going through this, so they have to learn what are the rules. If somebody is working in a specific job, a tajir, a tabib, somebody is a physician in a specific part, you should know what are your limitations as far as what's obligatory on you. I mean, what's okay for you to do and what's not. Let's not just jump into anything and everything without much information, because everything is out there. The third category after aqeedah and fi'l, what to think and what to do, what not to do, al-muharramat. Again, we have the common things. Everybody knows that killing is haram, one of the major sins. Zina or fornication and adultery is haram. All of this we should know in general, but again, there might be certain haram things at specific times in certain countries, in certain contexts, that we should be more aware of. Like the haram that we are taking easy nowadays, different kinds of haram. It was taken for granted that not even amongst Muslims only, but amongst everybody, that was something that we don't do. But now many of the values are changing. We should now learn what is read in Islam that we should not go at, or we should not do. So everybody has two levels of fard. What's obligatory on you? Fardu ayn, obligatory on every person, individual wajib, individual fard that's upon you. That's what we explained. If you become a Muslim right now, if you become an adult right now, then this is what you have to do. You should know it before you get to it. And we have fardul kifaya. Not everybody has to do fardul kifaya. Collective duty on the Muslim ummah. The scholars are talking in the books that the collective duty in the Muslim ummah, every group of ummah, like a community, small community like us, or every city in a Muslim country, they should have a physician. Because people cannot function without having physicians, without having craftspeople. As-sanna' wal-ha'iq, somebody a tailor to take care of your clothes. This is part of Islam fardu. Not every single person should do it, but we should have this. Nowadays, in our context, where are the lawyers amongst the Muslims? Where are the politicians amongst the Muslims? Where are those realtors and those companies that are trying to venture into the Sharia compliant financing? That's needed. Any service that's needed by the collective body of Muslims, it becomes obligatory on all of them collectively to have somebody doing that. Not that everybody should do it, but we should have someone there. What about the media? Are we going to let other people, Fox News and other people with certain agendas describing us? This is here, we read in the books. We should have one of you youth going to the media. We should have some representation in there as fardu kifaya. العلماء يقولون ومنه ما لا يستغنى عنه في قوام الدنيا أو أمور الدنيا كالطب والحساب وأصول الصناعة. So whatever that Muslims cannot do without, cannot dispense with, الفلاحة والصناعة والحياكة, it becomes a collective duty upon Muslims to know. Some of the knowledges and information and sciences is haram to give full stop, period. You cannot get there. As-sihr is a science or knowledge. There are rules to know, to learn magic. I'm not talking about the tricks, the little tricks, but there is magic, sihr, sorcery. You do certain steps, you go learn it. This is haram on Muslims to learn. We do not get there. العلوم الشرعية, the scholarly or the شرعي علوم are all good at all times to get into. All of this is as far as one part, which is the information. What should they know? What should they do? The other dimension is the internal dimension. You might have a scholar talking about all the information. These are the rules of divorce. This is what you do in this case, in this mas'ala. But maybe they lack ikhlas. What about ulum al-qalb? What about al-khawf min Allah, fear from Allah? Al-raja and hope. Al-sidq, truthfulness. Sincerity. This is a whole lot different part of knowledge. This is the true ilm, haqiqatul ilm, that we should not ignore. That is obligatory on every single person at all times. Nobody is exempted from that because it's with you at all times. Other things could be fard kifaya, collectively upon Muslims, but individually upon all Muslims is to try their best to be sincere, not to show off. Try to be truthful, sit and having all of these. Avoid al-riya and showing off. This is very important. Otherwise, you will be wasting time. قال فكن أحد رجلين إما مشغولا بنفسك, be one of two people. Somebody who's busy with himself, fixing themselves. أو متفرغا لغيرك بعد فراغك من نفسك. Or somebody who is helping others after they are almost secure with their own selves. And you don't want to be somebody who's busy with others. That's what fix you people. Somebody who's giving advices left and right while he himself or they themselves, they need help. They need a lot of work on their own selves. You don't want to do this. He said if you do this, if you get busy with others while forgetting your own selves, it's as if you have some scorpions under your clothes and you are worried about the flies on the face of other people. You need to focus on yourself. عليكم أنفسكم. And that's number one thing, starting from inside. What do I mean by this salah? Why I'm going to the masjid in the first place? And that is something that we have to refine at all times. So we will have the sincerity before we have the knowledge, and we talked about knowledge and information, what's necessary upon everybody. Don't want to take too long. Next time, inshallah, we will be talking about adab al-muallim wal-muta'allim, the virtues and the etiquettes and manners of the teacher and the student. All of that is usually a muqaddimah or an introduction that scholars will give in the beginning of their books before they get to the actual subject that they want to talk about. Before I go from here, I would like to remind myself and everyone of a special day that's coming up, Yawm Ashura. When is Yawm Ashura? Friday. This coming Friday, inshallah. What do we know about this day? The Prophet ﷺ said, if you fast on that day, احتسب على الله أن يكفر السنة التي قبله. He said, it's inshallah with Allah that Allah would, for fasting that day, would expiate the sins and wipe out the sins of the previous year. Can you imagine work for one day and get paid the salary of 1 year? Or get everything forgiven from the previous year. That's what the Prophet said. You could also pray التاسع والعاشر. He said, لأصومن لن عشت إلى قابل لأصومن التاسع والعاشر. The year before he passed away, sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if I live until the next year, I will fast the 9th and the 10th. 9th of al-Muharram and 10th of al-Muharram, which is tomorrow. Tomorrow is 9, and after tomorrow is 10. So you don't want to miss the 10th fasting. But if you want to fast tomorrow as well, that's fine. And again, people might ask, what about Friday? We cannot fast only Friday. That's if you just pick it up out of nowhere. I want to fast on Friday while not fasting one day before or after. That is not recommended. But if there is a reason to fast on Friday by itself, like in this case, there's no problem whatsoever, inshallah. May Allah Azza wa Jalla give us the best of dunya and akhirah. May Allah give us the ilm. May Allah give us the amal. May Allah give us ikhlas and sincerity. بارك الله فيكم وجزاكم الله خيرا. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه.